Hi everyone, Steve Gonzer, physical therapist and chief analyst at runsmartonline.com, and I wanted to take this opportunity to show you guys a video of kind of like a mini analysis that I did with a runner individual. You're going to see the befores and the afters of what we changed, and for whatever reason, people think that run form is just equated to finding your midfoot, and I can tell you that if you're one of those people that don't think that they need to work on their run form, or if you're one of those people that found their midfoot and thought they were done, you're leaving so much speed on the table because you can really leverage your movement to faster running if you can work on some of these things that I'm about to outline. But let me jump over, let me show you some befores and afters of why the midfoot strike is only the starting point for many runners. So this runner came in like many others, looking to run faster, looking to get over injury, and to just leverage her movement to be a faster, more durable runner. And like most runners, she comes in as a heel strike, and we kind of are going to address that. And I'm going to show you the phases of taking her from a heel strike to a midfoot strike, and then the next phase and beyond. But if we look at the big problem with the foot placement, and you're going to see that this doesn't change from one to the next. If we look at her, have her come through and push off, and she's actually pushing off right here and landing on the other side. So we look at her step length, which is how far do you travel at push-off before you touch down on the other side. So that's your step length. So we can see, based on what we're looking at right here, she doesn't have a very big step length. She can only go as far as she can reach based on the way that she's running. And part of that's because she's not driving with the knee. She is heel-toe running, and then we get this kind of scissor gait that we see with so many runners where they don't pick up their feet and they just kind of shuffle through. So you get this kind of low pendulum swinging type of leg as they come through. So the big thing is you have to take a million steps to get down the road. If I can get somebody to push off here and then travel a little bit further and touch down, that would be ideal. The key thing here is we need to maximize the forward and not maximize the up in the air and then coming back down. So you're going to see that as she goes through, she gets better at this, and then it continues to get better as you refine the systems. But this heel-toe running, you can only go so far with every step. You want to maximize how far forward you go, and we're going to show you a little bit of how we transitioned and changed her for that. So now we start looking at midfoot strike versus life beyond midfoot strike. So on the left-hand side, we're looking at her, and you can see that we transitioned her to a really good midfoot strike. And this is where people think, okay, this is what I need to achieve. This is the mecca of running. But you can see, look at how short her step is. This is when people use their cadence meters, and it drives me nuts because that is such a short step length that you're not going anywhere. It's going to take you a million steps to go anywhere. And then think about it, if you got to run and take that much more distance with every step that you took, if you're running 80 steps a minute, that's a lot of distance you're going to cover in a short period of time. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to try to get her to open her stride up. We got to work on getting you so that you can move the hips, run from the hips, and not pitter-patter your way down the road. The first thing you got to do is you got to have the anatomy for this. And this is something that we focus on in the analysis to see if the individual has the anatomy. And we do this also in the Run Smart Mechanics program, but we're looking to see, can you open and close your hips? If you have too much front pocket tightness, like an example would be on her right leg, and she can't extend her hip, then we can't get her to leverage herself so that she can push off and travel down the road more. So you can see that she midfoot strikes, which gets you all the benefits of shock absorption and not banging on the heel and taking some pressure off the knee and maybe off the hip as well. But the big thing is her stride is so short that she can't go anywhere. So let me transition to life beyond midfoot, which is the right-hand video. What you're going to see, just on gross observations, this is played at quarter speed. You're going to see that her heels flick up in the air a little bit. This is actually at the exact same pace. This is half marathon pace for her. And look at the difference between these. So she's still going to maintain her midfoot strike, but you see a little flick up on the heel on the back side of her stride. And what we're doing there is we're teaching her how to open and close her hips so that she can travel more distance with every step that she takes. So the heel flicking up in the air and the different things I'm about to show you are a byproduct of the drills that we used to teach her. So if we watch her come through and push off, before we saw that she was pretty much pushing off and touching down at the exact same point, which minimized her stride. But now look at her. She's going to push off on her right foot here, and she's not even close to being ready to touch down. So she's pushing off here, but the other foot's not set up to land yet. So what means is that as that foot leaves the ground, now all we're going to get is treadmill feeding underneath her, and outside that's the ground feeding underneath you. So it's going to open the stride up. It's going to get you to travel further. Look at the difference between the hips. So you can see that she's opening and closing the hips. This runner had the anatomy for this, so that's the key thing. If you don't have the anatomy, you need to get that first. But we look at just some easy hip angles here, and this is just rough estimate. You're going to see that she gives us a little bit better mobility through there. And these numbers aren't going to be exact, but at least gives you what we're looking for. So we have 37 on one side and then 61 on the other. So she had the hip flexibility. All we had to do was train her how to drive from the knees, work on wheeling her hip flexor and her hamstring on the backside to get her to push off. And you look, let's just go to full speed. It felt awkward for her, but you can see that when she's doing this, doesn't look awkward. It looks like she's running and she's doing well. Where the midfoot strike looks like it's kind of that shuffling nature. So many runners could really benefit from getting it a little bit more open in their stride, open in their step length, and really travel further for every step that they take. So the main question people are going to have for me is, how do I do this? How do I learn to open my step length? And what drills can I do to do this? But remember, you need the anatomy for that. So that's why I really encourage you to do one of a few things. Jump on over to our site. You can get started for just $1. And what I have is a video tutorial that's 4 phases. There's over 30+ videos that will teach you how to do these things, and in addition to some other things that you really need to be able to do, but it's also going to cover the anatomy piece, so I can show you how to stretch, how to do things that can open up your form and open up your stride so that you can, take bigger steps without launching yourself way up in the air. The other thing you can do is we have, on our website, we have the ability to upload your run footage to us for $50 off, which is $149. We only have 10 available, so it's going to be first come, first serve. But this is the best way to look at your run form, whether from an injury perspective or a speed perspective, to see what can you do differently to be faster or more resilient on the roads without having to train more, without having to dedicate more time. This is a perfect way to leverage your movement to run faster. So get out there, open your stride up, and start running faster without having to try much harder.